Welcome to 108 Gate. We are doing the Divine Masculine reading. The Divine Feminine reading is up and it got interrupted, but at the same time it kind of just going to lead on from where it was into the Divine Masculine reading. And I am aware that it's been happening quite a lot now. Not that the camera's going, but there's actually like interruptions happening. Again, that thing of making sure that you're clearing your energies, making sure that you're aware of where you've been interrupted in your life. If you've had plans and things are moving forward, when you get interrupted and something stops you, something happens and you get distracted, and then how easy is it for you to get back on track? How easy is it for you to return to where you were distracted from? Cards are flying all over. 10 of Cups. So you have that element of fulfillment coming in. Get that one cup is spilt over. Like I'm saying, it's quite emotional, this whole vibe, because you work so hard, or you've worked so hard on something, and then someone comes in and they say something mean. For example, the example that's coming up is like if somebody is spending so much time cooking a particular kind of meal, or they're making some kind of project, and then you really did it with your heart and soul. You made the best intention of, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to, I don't know, share it with somebody or share it with a group of people, and someone makes that mean comment, oh, you needed a bit more salt, or you know what I mean. It's like, you know what, there's a salt shaker there, stick some on. It's just that not necessary, like they know you've gone to so much effort, they know you've gone to so much put so much time and effort into it, and they just have to just always, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it doesn't need salt, they just have to make that comment. They have to like belittle what you do or how you did it. Maybe you don't have examples of that. Maybe it's that you've been a part of that to someone else. I don't know. You can figure that out, but that's the energy that's coming in. So, Queen of Wands, being proactive, understanding how to empower self in the feminine emotional area, in this area of being belittled, of the work that you're doing, just being like undervalued. And it just gets to the point of like, if you can't appreciate what I do, then I'm not going to do it for you anymore. Wow. You might have quite a few examples come up if you actually start thinking about that, or let that be free to do that. So the Divine Feminine reading, which is up before this one, this is kind of the Divine Feminine leading the masculine. So this is why I kept the cards down, so we can just kind of go on from the Divine Feminine into the Divine Masculine reading, but utilising the insight from the Divine Feminine's emotional space. So walking away from certain things really does set you up. Look at that. Being decisive, being discerning of, this isn't working for me anymore. This hasn't worked for me for a long time, but I've been told that I don't have a choice. I've been told that I just have to, like I said in the Divine Feminine reading, you've got to just grin and bear it. You've just got to go along with it. You just got to do, just don't disturb the peace. Just keep quiet. Don't do anything that's going to disrupt anything. But at the same time, it's okay for some other person to do that. It's okay for someone else to be an arse. And I know I shouldn't be saying that, but it's like, literally, why can they bring up a stink but I can't? Why have I always got to be the peacemaker? Why have I always got to be the one that just shuts up and puts up with it? Why is that person always got to just be the one that can create problems and walk away grinning? The thing is to not get stuck in that, because that's what they want. They're antagonising, and they're creating that anticipation of you're going to be biting, that you're going to react to them, that you're going to get stuck like this, like the hook, the fish. There's the hook, and you get like a fish. You go and get hooked on it. You can't easily pull yourself off some of these. You've got 2 of Wands. 2 of Swords here is bringing the clarity into this from your emotions. Like I said in the Divine Feminine reading, the emotions are going to come up, and instead of being objective or just trying to deny them, or being in awareness of them and just do nothing with them, it's about time to actually articulate them to yourself. It doesn't have to be articulated to someone else. If you're seeing a counsellor, a therapist, or something like that, then that's a good place to be doing it. other than that, this is kind of like you conversing with the divine, conversing with your higher self, conversing with your inner self, because there's a certain dignity to this. There's a certain self-empowerment energy to this, that it's like you're protecting your domain. You're starting from scratch. Assess in sense of assessing who is trustworthy and who is not. There's some people that need to prove themselves a little bit. There's some people that you can see that yes, they work with me in this area, but if it doesn't go exactly 100% to how they expect it to be, they can be a bit difficult. So you literally utilizing this energy, you're utilizing this situation that's coming up, or situations that are coming up to the consciousness, to identify where in the past you've had to grin and bear it, where you've had to be passive. You've had to just ignore certain things or behave as though you've ignored it, but your soul, your emotions, your deeper self has understood that I'm being unheard right now. No one's listening to my opinion. No one's listening to my side. Why is it that my pain is any less important than that person's? Really, really feeling like it's as though you're having you're consoling yourself, and you're having consoling conversations with your little self, your younger self. The astrology has been explained in the Divine Feminine reading. If there's anything that's relevant to the Divine Masculine energy too, I will bring that up. Having said that, the Mars energy in Sagittarius, really just utilise it. Really going forward, exploring more, exploring deeper, exploring wider, and with confidence, because it is Mars in Sagittarius. And then again, those wounds that have not been healed, those wounds that have been ignored because we've been told, oh, just don't make a fuss, don't bother with this, don't bother with that, it's got to come to an end. Death, bringing it to a death end. Interesting. So I'm hearing the song Idols. I can't remember this. I can't remember the name of the song. Ballroom something. Ballroom something. I can't remember. And I'm going to start putting some songs in the as a post, to be honest, because there's some songs I feel lately I just wanted to share. So let me know what you think of the songs. You don't have to like them. You don't have to listen to them. It's just something that, I don't know, they seem relevant on some level, some of them, the lyrics, and who knows. It's always a great way to connect. So bringing it to an end, needing it to come to an end, interestingly, so going away, just literally emotionally breaking yourself away from things, emotionally breaking yourself away from being tied to an opinion, to be tied to a detrimental pattern, to be tied to a detrimental way of approaching things. And then discerning the difference between, why was I doing this? Well, you were told to do it. Therefore, the conflicts coming up around that is it's coming in as feeling very unprotected, it's feeling very vulnerable, it's feeling very undervalued, it's feeling really emotional. It's feeling very much so that the childhood wounds that are still agape. They may have some, they need tending to. They may have some like grit in there. They may, in the form of like metaphorically, energetically, like resentment or regret or anger, residue of anger. So energetically, it looks like grit in a wound that needs to come out. It needs to be flushed out. So the Nine of Wands here, the feminine energy. Right, let's finish this one first. So here it's coming in that the masculine energy is going to tackle this issue properly. So as I put it there, it felt relevant that what wasn't addressed before is going to be addressed, and still walking away from it, but also needing to go back to it. So yes, emotionally walking away from the stimulus, walking away from the situation, but it doesn't mean you in your private space have walked away from it, because it keeps coming up with upset memories, it keeps coming up with certain emotions, it keeps coming up with you sabotaging yourself or doing whatever as a result. Therefore, this is why it feels relevant now that the feminine cards had to stay here. Behind the scenes, you've walked away, you don't necessarily care. Well, it's not that you don't care, you're not letting it get to you anymore, but in the privacy of your own home, in the privacy of your own space, in the privacy of your own domain, in your own kingdom, in your own heart, in your own mind, in your own soul space, you are going to possibly have an opportunity to combat those things that are coming up in a very dignified, gentle, compassionate manner, so that nobody else needs to know about this happening. You're doing it with yourself, you're doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your younger self who is still carrying some of these wounds. So on this side, the wounds there that are literally just, they're stopping you from completing certain things that you're so close. So it's that energy of feeling like something's just within reach, but it keeps getting pulled away. Now, allowing yourself to, it's just within reach, and knowing how to edge forward, because you know you're worthy of having it. You know your higher value, you know your higher worth, you know you can sustain it. People trying to take your ideas, or if they took your ideas before, if they're taking credit for your work that you've been putting all this time, energy and effort into, and someone else claims it as their work, and it's like, and what I mean by claim as their work is like they're kind of riding on your horse. They might not even be outright saying that it's theirs. It's like, oh yes, we did nothing, it was me, thank you very much. I did all the work, I did all this, I did all that. Exactly the example of not having to say that externally, but making sure that you're acknowledging it with your conversation with yourself internally. The internal conversation shifting and changing, hence this full moon in Gemini, bringing about that shifting and changing of how we think about ourselves, how we're thinking about certain things that have happened, how we're approaching things in a different manner. So we've got North Node in Aries as well, nearing Chiron. No, it's not, because it's in retrograde. It's still nearer to Chiron than it has been. So it's quite an intense shedding of emotions. It's just literally allowing it to come to fruition, bringing in the justice, bringing in the true outcome that you desire and you need and you want. Let's get some here. Interestingly, it's going to come sideways, so like a step ladder, or it's going to be like a supporting beam. Slow down, slow right down, because these energies are not something for you to be holding on to, but they're not also going to be, they're not something for you to figure out. It's just literally letting it go through, but you've got to kind of, so you've got to not hold on to the pipe for the water to be able to travel through it. If you're grasping too hard onto it and trying to go too fast, it can't be at its own pace and own flow, therefore you're still going to get stuck. So if you're I don't drive, but just for those of you who do, so if you do you're trying to drive too fast in first gear, it's going to stall, it's going to whatever, it just won't function the way it's supposed to. So you have to adapt to it. You have to adapt to acknowledging that there were certain painful memories stuck and lodged in your psyche, in your emotional field, in your auric field, whatever it is, and then they have to come up and just be let go. There are possibly flashbacks that could come up with this for some of you. I'm not saying it's going to be for all of you, but it could be possibly some flashbacks. And just this is why it's just to be slowing down, acknowledging it, and then there you go, security. So slowing down and security is like the pillar, the post to which you're going to be like holding you steady. Feel the sense of security of you not being in that situation now. That is a flashback from a past thing, a past memory, and you are decisively, if you're doing the work on this particularly right now, you are decisively moving away from that. You're decisively moving on from that. And what does that mean? What does that take? Where's the compassion for you? Have you cried those tears, or are they still lodged? Is there a sense of grief? Is there a sense of tiredness? Is there a sense of overwhelm? Is there a sense of exhaustion? This is good, because if you're if you've got that there, you have this fantastic opportunity to let it come up and out, up and out. True feelings, where you've not been able to access them before because you've been made to believe you're wrong. You shouldn't be going on about the same thing. Oh, you're still going on about that, are you? Yes, I am, because it hurt. Yes, I am, because I felt abandoned. Yes, I am, because it's something that's deeply impacting me still at this moment. So this is why it's an internal conversation, because you may have had these conversations with certain people and you get the same answer of like, oh gosh, she's still talking about that. Oh gosh, he's still doing this. And it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter what I do. That person's never gonna. Don't expect them to have compassion for you. Don't expect them to be on your side and be willing and able to be there to heal you or to forgive you, or for you to be able to forgive them. Therefore, even more empowering when you realise, I'm just going to have this conversation with myself. I know what happened. I know I was there. I know that they were there. And if they're in denial about it, that's not on me. That's on them. You claim your own power back. You can't force other people to do their work. Spirituality. There you go. Don't expect them to be someone they're not. Don't expect them to take responsibility or acknowledgement for what they've done, because they might not. And then what does that do to you? It leaves you in wanting. It leaves you in feeling unfulfilled, and leaves you feeling stuck. If you don't expect it from them, you can free yourself from it. I'm going to put the Idol song up because it's really like interesting how it's feeling quite relevant for it. King of Wands, go and be proactive for yourself. Be proactive in a way that you need for you. And celebrate. King of Cups, doing it for you. Doing it because you know you can. Doing it because you've been honest with yourself. You've been told so long, just leave it, let it go. But if that person's upset, if that group of people's upset, you're going to hear about it. Quick, smart. They won't let up until you've like sat there for 2, 3, 4 hours and just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, if you want to speak about something, if you need support with something, it's not acceptable, it's not applicable, it's not worth it. You know it's worth it. You know it's happening. You know what you're feeling. True feelings. You know the value of letting yourself be free of this. You know. Let the sunshine in. I could feel that concluding. So, for today, this is the Divine Masculine. Divine Feminine's already up, and then she came into the Divine Masculine. Started for the Divine Masculine, linking to the Divine Feminine directly. Just bringing it up. Bring yourself up. Bring yourself into the truth. And you just need to be aware of it yourself. You don't need others to be accepting or acknowledging or forgiving you, or you forgiving them. It's just, and what I mean is an external conversation with them. This conversation feels proactive internally within yourself. You are actively saying something happened to yourself. You are actively acknowledging your true feelings about something that you're told, oh, it doesn't matter because it was you. What message has that sent to you? What message has that sent to yourself? What message have you been on a loop of just like, oh, it's not worth it, me talking about it, because nothing happens anyway. Let something happen for you within yourself, in your auric field, in your psyche, in your emotions, in your plans for your future, things like that. They can't touch that. Don't let them touch that. Someone makes a comment about this food, this meal you've made, and it's been like loads of love and energy has gone into it. Let it go. They're just being spiteful. There is quite a lot of letting go of spite and things like that here as well. So, Divine Feminine reading up. Check out your Zodiac monthly readings. So that's up for this month. And it's in the individual playlists. And so, for now, stay calm, stay cool, stay loving towards yourself. Really, really listen to yourself. Trust yourself. And enjoy this process. Good luck. Peace and love.